Hosea. Sort of reminds me, or someone, or Tony, or someone reminded me, as you're turning there, this is completely unspiritual. Don't prepare for anything spiritual right at this moment. But Hosea reminds me of the Mexican fireman. My dad told me this joke. The Mexican fireman, he had twin sons. Named the first son Jose. He named the second son Hose B, which always reminds me of Hosea. Yeah, it's there. Hosea chapter number 2. Hosea chapter number 2. Verse number 1 says, Say ye unto your brethren, Ami, and to your sisters, Ruama, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked and set her in the day as she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother hath played the harlot, she hath conceived them. She that conceived them hath done shamefully, for she said, I will go after my lovers, that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, mine oil and my drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with thorns and make a wall, that she shall not find her paths. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now. For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to her cover her nakedness. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of mine hand. I will also cause all her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. And I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she hath said, These are my rewards that my lovers have given me. And I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And I will visit upon her the days of Balaam, wherein she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers, and forgat me, saith the Lord. Therefore, behold, I will allure her, and bring her into the wilderness, and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there, as in the days of her youth, as in the days when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be at that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishai, and thou shalt no more call me no more Baali. For I will take away the names of Balaam out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and I will make them lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment, and in loving kindness and in mercies. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith the Lord, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth, and the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, Thou art my people. And they shall say, Thou art my God. It's a story, this one. It's an unfolding drama. The series of preachings that I've been listening to, and I've realized listening into it today, and I'll make it available here probably next week, the sermons that I've been listening to for your benefit, and just how influential those sermons were on my life and things that came out of that I've still hold to this day. That this is rich, deep scripture that we're traversing here, and it's a wonderful, wonderful story. And the preacher, as he's preaching it, Brother Davison, as I was there, he preached the series on a Sunday night, and he just called it a drama for the ages. That it's not just a drama for this time and this life. This goes beyond, transcends that particular time. This is a drama for the ages. Any thoughts, comments, observations tonight, Cornelius?
This whole chapter here is like when Israel came out of land of Egypt and they started worshiping other gods and committing whoredoms. So this is about Israel coming back because God hasn't forgotten about Israel and He's going to bring them back to Himself, and they're going to forget about Balaam and all the other gods that they serve.
Mm. Yeah, and Hosea experiences the heart of God in all of this as well. You know, he experiences what the emotions that God is experiencing as well in that same relationship, in that what's played out there. Any other observations or thoughts, Ben?
Something that stands out to me, just in this chapter, it shows God's, His justness, but also His equal and mercy as well.
Yeah.
Like, Israel, they do the crime, they do the time, but then God says, hey, look, we can come back from this.
Yeah.
And then He says right at the end, there are my people, and they are my God.
To see God, absolutely right. To see who God is and how his interactions, because oftentimes the blending of God's personality is a wonderful thing. Like say, he's just, he's merciful, and he's loving, and they're so intertwined and woven together as one. It's so unlike how we operate. We are often just like, yes, we will bring down the law and judgment here, or we'll have mercy and just be open and loving. But God is all of those equally and in a right way, and we are often imbalanced in our justice, mercy, and love. But it plays out, absolutely, plays out in this chapter. The personality of who God is and the balance there. It's quite amazing.
The verse that really stood out to me in this chapter, which I found really sad in one way, but it just shows the long suffering and the loving kindness of God, is verse 8, where it said, all these things they had, all that she had and Israel had, for she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal.
Yep.
And it's like, exactly, if Christians, that can apply to the world, but to Christians also, that we have the blessings of God, but we don't acknowledge it and we use it for other in the wrong way.
Yep.
So often.
No, that's honestly, that is one of the key verses in this chapter. Yeah, absolutely. It is, isn't it? Yeah, as soon as you get all the amens, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, funny enough, yeah, sure, yeah. So brave there, yeah. Stepping out on a limb.
And then they go off and look at a rock that has been carved and say, this rock has given us all this stuff. And God's looking on going, are you serious? Like, I've given you all this stuff. I'm looking after you. I care about you. And
Yeah.
I provide for you. Why are you looking at this rock? Why? And it's sad because we do the same thing, and I do the same thing. I give glory to myself even in situations. Like, oh yeah, I did this or I did that. And God's looking on going, no, I did that. I did that for you, and it is quite a sad
Yeah.
passage.
Yep. What's that?
I said it's been a perpetual cycle since they come out of Egypt.
That's why the well stated to call it the drama of the ages, because it's not just this little sliver of time. It predates it. Before that as well, before the flood, it's the same things. And all the way through to today, it's the same stuff. It's the same human heart, the same propensities, the same results.
You can parallel it like as Hurst was saying, you can parallel to our life, you know. We get blessings sort of on us. And sometimes we forget to thank God. Or we just get caught up in the world's ways and stuff, and we forget to thank God for what he's blessed us with, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a great chapter, and like our little time here as we pass through it doesn't do it justice. We're not preaching through it. We're just sort of just doing a light 15-minute, 20-minute Bible study out of this chapter, but much more there. But look at this. Let's go through it. Just again, pull out some things here. He says, "Plead with your mother. Plead." Because she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Now he is. They are married. But that's such as the relationship. Like I said, they are not my children, but in that sense. And he goes through and he says, I'll strip her naked. And in verse 4 says, I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. We had this conversation briefly last week about those children. Now, from what I understand, the first child came out of the relationship of Hosea and his wife, Jezreel. Lo Ruami and Lo Ruama seem to have come out of children of whoredoms. They have come out of this adulterous relationship. Lo means not obtain mercy, not my people. So those two children seem to have come out. I will not have mercy upon her children, for they are the children of whoredoms. They're the product of these unfaithful relationships. For their mother hath played the harlot; she that conceived them hath done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers, plural, more than just one here. She's got many on the side that give me my bread and my water, my wool, my flax, mine oil, and my drink. And so she's out living the high life. She's out living it up. I did look at this, and I don't mean to be. Pastor Davison was making mention of this word, and he says this word. He says I'm going to use it, but it's like nails on a chalkboard. To use the word, but whoredoms and a whore is used in its right context here. And it makes mention here, I looked this up because it sort of interested me in the sense that I didn't understand it. But verse 2 says, let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight and her adulteries. And I thought, what is the difference between those two sort of words? Adultery is the immoral relationship that comes out of a married relationship. Fornication is usually single people. Adultery is the unfaithfulness of married people. And then I thought, well, how does that compare with whoredoms? And just looking at the dictionary definition of it, and it said this, that a person who is who is willing to do anything to get a particular thing. So whoredoms are the things a person is willing to do to get a particular thing. They give themselves to this. In this particular case, it's immoral sexual relations. And she is having, Gomer, the unfaithful wife, is having immoral relations, but she's doing it to get what she thinks is to get this lifestyle. And she thinks, in her sense, she's saying this. She's like, man, they give me my lovers, verse 5 says, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread, my water, my wool, and my flax, mine oil, and my drink. But he says, therefore, behold, I will hedge up my way with thorns, thy way with thorns, and will make a wall that she shall not find her paths, and she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them, and she shall seek them and not find them. I will go and return. She said, I will go and return to my first husband. But look at verse 8. But she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. Now, we've already covered that, man, God blesses us and we contribute elsewhere. But put it back in the context of what's taking place here, is that Hosea is actually the one who is giving her what she needs. He is still supplying to her as his wife the money and the clothes, and she is supplying. It's almost like he is going to the house, and he is knocking on the door, and he is saying, my wife is here, and you are with my wife, and I want you, here is stuff. I know you're not going to take care of her. I know that you're not able to take care of her, but I want her looked after. I know she's not looking after herself. I want her looked after. And here are clothes, here are flax, here is the clothes, here is oil, and here is wine, and here is good things. And let her know they come from me, that I do love her still, though she has run away from me. And let her know these are mine, and I still want her to looked after. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, thanks. And then he takes that stuff, and then she says, oh, well, look what my lover gave me. When it wasn't him at all. It was actually Hosea that gave it to her to give. And then they take it and they offer what has been blessed by Hosea. And it says that you took this, what I gave you, and you went and prepared it for Baal. And you offered the blessings from me to Baal, which is in quite a scene in the physical sense of the husband and his runaway wife and her lovers and him providing. And that's what he's saying. I'm going to cut it off. I'm not going to do this anymore. And so that you're going to find out that your lovers are not actually providing for you. Who you think are providing for you aren't actually providing for you, which is what he's saying. I'm going to stop it. And you're going to find yourself naked and ashamed. And you're going to find yourself actually what you thought they were providing wasn't providing for you. I'm the one that's providing for you. And she did not know it, and they gave it away. And that's where he goes on to say that she'll be found naked because he's no longer going to be providing his wool and his flax to be able to clothe her. And she's going to find that. And in that day, it says in verse 12, I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she said, these are my rewards, what my lovers have given me. So this is what she's saying. This is all the blessings. And this is Israel. We're saying, man, these vineyards are blossoming and the grapes are coming and the wine and all of just the good life that comes from this. And they're saying, we got this because of Baal, the Baal worship and Ashtaroth and all that, but Baal particularly, which meant Lord, meant master. That's what the word means. This is what Baal gave us, and God is saying, right, I'm going to withhold the rain. I am going to withhold it, and you're going to find out that it's not your lovers that have been blessing your fruit of your crop. It's me, your husband. And he says, the rewards you said, that these are the rewards of my lovers. He says, I will make them a forest. It means overgrown, and the beasts that is going to come of the field, they're just going to be overgrown and barren, and the beasts of the field are going to walk between it. They're not going to be the productive fruit that was once there. And then he goes on, and look at this. Even in the midst of all of this, he says, therefore, behold, I will allure her. Isn't that the most strangest, bizarre word in the midst of this saga? You don't think you're going to hear the husband say, and I will allure her. I'm going to win her back. In fact, if I was in that state, if I was in that position of Hosea, and this is you understand the flesh, and you probably put yourself there. If we put ourselves there, would we say that alluring our adulterous spouse back would be in our thoughts? No. Cut off, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can cut off the oil and the wine. I'm going to cut off the credit cards. I'm going to cut off access to the bank accounts. I'm going to cut off that stuff, yes. But allure? But that's the love of God. That's exactly as Ben said. Yes, it's the justice of God, but you also have the mercy of God. And the love, Hosea, from what you get from this, Hosea genuinely loved his wife. I think that's fair to say in all of this, even though he's going through it. Like, God genuinely loves his bride. And he says, I will allure her, the mercy, and I will speak comfortably unto her. And I'm going to get to a place where she's going to turn back to me and realize and say, actually, it was better with my first husband. He says here very quickly, and I'll just mention this to you, verse 15, I will give her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. The valley of Achor, I had to look this up, but does anybody know what happened in Achor, or the valley of Achor? Yes, because... Yes, Achan stole the bacon, as they say. Achan took the goodly Babylonian garments. He took the gold, and anyway, he got stoned, and he got judged. The judgment of God came down in the valley of Achor, is where Achan was. Good job, by the way. That was worth. If I had an apple, I'd give you something fruit. But exactly right. So that's the valley of Achor, where Achan was judged. Because what did he do? He went after the goodly Babylonian garments and the gold and the things of this life. And he said, no, don't touch those things in that time and in that instance. And he was judged. And it was the valley of Achor. It means troubled, is what Achor means. It's the valley of trouble. And God is saying, right, I'm going to bring you back to the valley of trouble where your troubles have been. And I'm actually going to turn all your troubles and it's going to be good. Which is again what God does. He takes the troubles and our lusts and all of those things and he says, right, I'm going to turn these things and they're going to be for good. No more troubled. Ai, thou shalt call me Ishai, which means my man or my husband. He says, you're going to call me my husband again. And he says, thou shalt no more call me Baali. Or was what they were calling him, Baal. They were saying, God is Baal, Lord. My master. He says, you're not going to call me my master anymore. You're going to call me again at a time in the future. You're going to call me my husband. It's like my beloved. My beloved, like Song of Solomon. There's going to be genuine love for Israel again, for her true spouse, for her husband. And then it goes on, he gives the promises there. And he says, I'm going to be merciful to her. And I'll be kind to her. And those people, look at verse 23, and I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which are not my people, thou art my people, and thou shalt say, thou art my God. Even the mess that she got herself in, the mercy of God extended to turn it around and say, right, I'm still going to extend my love to you, and this relationship's going to be very different, and it's going to be fixed. Which again, we could say Israel and God. Oh yes, we see the adulterous relationship that they had with God. Fast forward. Do you know that Paul says that ye have been espoused unto one? You have been espoused unto Christ. That when you trust Jesus Christ, you enter into also the covenant relationship with Jesus Christ. You are the bride of Christ. You are his bride. And how faithful are you to him? How faithful are you to Christ? How faithful are you? So the same thing applies to us today. Are we faithful to him? Or has our love gone after our own, as Connor very astutely said, which is true for all of us? We go do something and who do we give the glory to? Man, I did pretty good here. I did well. Well, who gave you the nous and who gave you the blessings and who gave you the contract and who gave you the ability to do that? It's God. We must acknowledge, man, God is good to me. And we take the goodness of God and we just use it for our own selves. And we say, my love is me. I love myself. I'm the one who did this for me. We do the same stuff. But God is good to us. God is good. And we have been espoused unto Christ. And we ought to give up our lovers. And our love ought to be for Jesus only. And it's true for us. That's why it's a drama for the ages. And next week, tiny little 5 verses. Jam-packed full of goodness, those 5 verses that we'll look at next week as we continue in this. Oh, the love of God, the justice of God, the mercy of God.